So for this next set of problems, we want to determine a particular coefficient for a particular term in an expansion. So we have a binomial x plus 3 raised to the 6th power. We don't want to fully expand this. We just want to focus on the particular term. So we have this expansion and we want the, what do we want? The coefficient of x to the 4th. X to the 4th. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on, look at the x to the 4th term. So this guy's going to be my A, this guy's going to be my B. So I'm going to have A, and I'm going to have, it's going to be raised to some power. And I'm going to have my B, which is going to be 3 raised to some power, and we're going to have a binomial coefficient for it. Now, we're looking for a x to the 4th term, right? X to the 4th. The question is, what exponent do I have to put up there to guarantee I get x to the 4th? Well, I put a 4th power there, right? And the question is, what power do I have to put above 3? I have to put a 2 there, right? Because these always have to add up to the full power of 6. So I have to have a 4 in one place and a 2 in the other place. So that means I need a C2. C2. Yep. No, I said that wrong. C4. C4 is right. Yeah, I mean, it could be either one, C2 or C4. They actually turn out to be the same thing in your expansion. So, I'm putting C4 there. C4. So, let's find C4. Where is C4? So, where are we? We're in the 6th row. Where's the 6th row? We're going to find C4. This would be C0, C1, C2, C3, C4. So C4 is 15. I'm actually going to have here 15. So C4, it's 15. This is in row 6. So it means they're going to have 15 x to the 4th, if I can spell that. And then we're going to have 3 squared, right? That's 9. So to simplify this, we have to take 15 times 9. What is that? I'll get my calculator working. 15 times 9. It's 135. So I'm going to have 135 when I multiply 15 times 9. 135x to the 4th. So the x to the 4th term is going to have, it's going to be 135 x to the 4th. So what does that mean? What is our coefficient? Our coefficient here is the 135. So the coefficient of x to the 4th is 135. That's our answer. Let's do another one. Let's see, do I have any good problems here? Yeah, I got 5x plus 2 to the 10th power. And we want to look at the x to the 8th term. So here I'm going to call this guy my A, 5x, and my B is going to be 2. So when I look at the the x to the 8th term, look at x to the 8th term. That's going to have what? 5x to a power and times 2 to a power, and you're going to have a binomial coefficient in front. So what do I have to have above 5x to make sure I have any power? Well, I'm going to have the power of 8, because the 2 doesn't have any x in it, so the 2 won't contribute anything to the x. So I have to have 5x to the 8 to get a power of 8. And for 2, the green 2, I have to put an exponent of 2 above that. Remember, 8 plus 2 has to total up to 10 right here. So I got 8 and 2. That means I'm going to have c sub 8 as my binomial coefficient. So let's simplify this. So we're looking in row 10. In row 10, we're looking for C8. Let's find row 10. Here's row 10. This would be C0, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8. So that's 45. Yeah, 45. C8 is 45. That's the binomial coefficient, so let's put that on front there and place it C8. So 45. We got, what, 5 to the 8. We have 2 to the second, and then x to the 8 on the end. So I have to find 45 times 5 to the 8 times 2 squared to get the overall coefficient of x to the 8. 45 times 5 to the 8 times 2 squared is a big number. It's going to be 7,031,2,500. 70,312,500 times x squared. Sorry, x to the 8th. So that's your x to the 8th term, and the coefficient is the blue guy. So here's the coefficient of x to the 8th. There's this blue number, 70 million, if I can spell that. 312,500. Final answer right there. Okay, this last one. Last one's a little trick here. You have 7x minus 8y to the power of 8. And we want to look at the coefficient of the term x to the 5th, y to the 3rd. X to the 5th, y to the 3rd. Okay, let's see about this one. So what am I going to do? I'm going to look at the x to the 5th, y to the 3rd term. So here, keep in mind that this is actually 7x plus negative 8y all raised to the 8th power. So my a here is 7x and my b is negative 8y. So I'm going to have a 7x to some power, and I'm going to have a negative 8y to some power, and I'm going to have a binomial coefficient in front. So those components, you got a binomial coefficient, you have a power on 7x, you have a power on negative 8y. Now, how do we get a x to the 5th, y to the 3rd? What are we going to have to do? Well, we're going to have to put a 5 up here above the 7x, and we're going to have to put a 3 up here above the negative 8y. So that means the binomial coefficient in front of everything is going to be c sub 5. So let's find c sub 5. So we're going to go in the 8th row, right, because we're doing with the 8th power overall here. So look in row 8 of Pascal's triangle. We're going to find C5. So where's row 8? Row 8, that is here. So C5, I'm going C0, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. Looks like it's 56. Yeah, 56. So I'm going to plug that up in there. I'm going to have 56 times 7 to the 5th power negative 8 to the third power, and then we're going to have, let's see, x to the fifth, y to the third, right? Here's the x to the fifth, here's the y to the third. So we got to calculate all this. 56 times 7 to the fifth times negative 8 to the third. Let's do that. 56 times 7 to the fifth times negative 8 to the third. That's going to give us a massive negative 481890304 x to the fifth, y to the third, comma, negative 481,890,304 x to the fifth, y to the third. So our coefficient of x to the fifth, y to the third is that blue number, negative 481,890,304. All right, let's do one more. Final problem. A little harder maybe than the others. Let's say we have the expansion 3x squared minus 7y cubed, all to the 7th power. And we're looking for a special x to the 10th, y to the 6th terms coefficient. So we're going to focus on, how did we write that? Look at x to the 10th, y to the 6th term. So my a is going to be 3x squared. That's going to be to a power. My b is going to be negative 7y cubed. That's going to be a power, and we're going to have a binomial coefficient for this. So I guess the question is, how do we get x to the 10th and y to the 6th here? Well, you would have to raise this square right here to a power of 5, right? When I take this and multiply this, I get 10. 2 times 5 is 10. And what do I have to put over here on this side? I have to put a power of 2, right? Because we're going to have 2 times 3 to get this power of 6. And also, these guys, 5 and 2, they should add up to the full power of 7 there. Now, what does that mean? What does this coefficient have to be here? This binomial coefficient has to be c sub 5. So we've got to find c sub 5. We're going to be in row 7. All right, row 7. We're going to look at c5 in row 7. Where's row 7 in our Pascal triangle? Row 7 is right here. I'm going c5, right? That's c0, c1, c2, c3, c4, c5. 21. 21. So I'm going to put 21 there. I'm going to have 21, 3 to the 5th power, x squared to the 5th power. Well, let's not do that yet. Let's do the green. Negative 7 to the 2nd power. Now we're going to do x squared to the 5th power and y cubed to the 2nd power. So we do that, we're going to do 20. Well, let's multiply these guys first here. 21 times 3 to the 5th times negative 7 squared. That's going to give us 25. So 250,047. And then when you multiply these, you're going to get your x to the 10th. And then when you multiply these, you're going to get your y to the 6th. And that's what we wanted, right? We wanted x to the 10th, y to the 6th as our term. So there's the term. Let's look at the coefficient in front of the term, that blue number. Coefficient 4 x to the 10th